The film that almost bankrupted Hollywood. A studio greenlights a movie believing it will be a safe, elegant blockbuster. A queen. A love story. A guaranteed hit. Instead, it becomes so chaotic, so expensive, and so publicly scandalous that it nearly destroys the company making it. Here is the part most people never realize. Cleopatra was not just a famous movie. It was a warning shot that Hollywood ignored until it could not. Because behind the gold costumes and giant sets was a horror story made of ego, sickness, secrecy, and one romance the world watched like a wildfire. And by the time the cameras stopped rolling, the damage was so deep, it quietly helped end an entire era of filmmaking. So how did one movie about ancient power become the project that almost killed the modern studio system? It starts with a decision that sounds simple. Cast the biggest star on earth, Elizabeth Taylor. At the time, she was not just a celebrity. She was the face of glamour itself. Tabloid royalty before the word even existed. Fox wanted a sure thing. So they offered something unheard of. A deal so massive it sent shockwaves through Hollywood. That single contract sent a message to every actor, every producer, every studio executive. The era of studios owning stars was ending. The stars were starting to own the studios. If the story is weak, build something bigger. But money does not fix chaos. It only hides it for a while. And while the studio fights to keep the film alive, another story begins to form. A story without a script. A story the public will obsess over. Because the co-star arrives. Richard Burton. Not just an actor. A force. The kind of presence audiences believe could start wars with his voice. When Burton and Taylor share a set, everything changes. The most expensive movie in Hollywood becomes a pressure cooker. The world senses it. Their chemistry is not subtle, not polite, not safe. It looks like something that should not be happening. And soon it becomes impossible to ignore. An affair. Not whispered. Not hidden. A global scandal playing out across newspapers. Like the first reality show. Remember, this is an era when Hollywood still pretends to be clean. Studios sell romance, but demand morality. Stars must look perfect, even if their lives are falling apart. But with Taylor and Burton, the curtain rips open. Now the studio has a nightmare it cannot edit. Every day of filming is also a day of headlines. People are not just watching Cleopatra. They are watching Elizabeth Taylor's life. And the studio cannot stop it. Because scandal does not pause for the camera. It feeds it. Here is the cruel twist. The scandal is terrible for dignity, but incredible for attention. The film becomes unavoidable. Not because of the story. Because of the heat. Because humans love forbidden stories. They love watching power crack. They love watching beautiful people make dangerous choices. Fox becomes trapped. Cancel the movie. And admit a failure so massive it could destroy them. So they do the only thing left. They finish it. No matter the cost. And by now the cost is not just money. It is identity. Fox pushes every chip forward. Because quitting now would mean losing everything. Behind closed doors, executives panic. The budget becomes a number so large, it stops feeling real. But here is the real trap. The movie was not ready. The script was not finished. The plan was not stable. And the machine still moved forward anyway. Because once Hollywood starts spending, it hates admitting it should stop. Filming begins. Money is burning. The production is already wobbling. Then disaster strikes. Elizabeth Taylor becomes seriously ill. Not exhausted. Not tired. Hospital sick. The kind of sick that freezes an entire production. While hundreds of crew members stand around every day, waiting, as the budget continues to bleed. Imagine it. An army of workers. Massive sets. Costumes. Equipment. All being paid for daily. While the movie cannot move. Every delay multiplies the cost. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to admit the truth. This film might not survive. So Fox does what desperate studios always do. They keep spending. They keep promising investors it is under control. They keep telling themselves next week will fix everything. But the problem is not just illness. It is scale. Cleopatra is not being made like a normal movie. It is being built like an empire. Sets the size of buildings. Wardrobes that look like museum exhibits. Scenes designed to make audiences feel history itself. An ambition like that has a hidden cost. When something breaks on a production this large, it does not break quietly. It breaks loudly. Then comes the decision that turns crisis into catastrophe. The movie relocates. That means rebuilding, replanning, rehiring, moving an entire production like a small city. When the dust settles, another blow lands. The director is replaced. That alone is expensive. But what comes next makes Cleopatra legendary. The new director does not simply continue. He rethinks. He reshoots. He reframes. Scenes that already cost a fortune are suddenly not good enough. Now the studio is paying twice for the same moments. This is where Hollywood's most dangerous addiction appears. The belief that money can fix chaos. If it is not working, spend more. The studio begins selling assets, cutting elsewhere, just to survive. All because one movie becomes an economic event. Then something shocking happens. Cleopatra releases. And it is not a flop. It becomes one of the biggest hits of its year. But it still is not enough. Because the film did not just need success. It needed a miracle. And it does not get one. So Hollywood witnesses something terrifying. A blockbuster. That still feels like a loss. That realization changes everything. If a movie this famous, this massive, with the biggest star alive, can nearly sink a studio, then no project is safe. Hollywood backs away from giant epics. The old system begins to crack. Smaller films rise. New voices emerge. Risk shifts away from spectacle. Cleopatra becomes the turning point. Not just a movie, but a lesson. It showed what happens when ambition becomes addiction. It showed what happens when image matters more than reality. And in a strange way, it predicted the future. Because today audiences still do the same thing. They do not just watch movies. They watch the stories around them. The chaos. The scandals. The human cost. Cleopatra was one of the first times the world saw Hollywood without the mask. A glamorous film on screen. And a studio fighting for its life behind it. So ask yourself, if Cleopatra were made today, under non-stop internet pressure, constant leaks, and global commentary, would it survive long enough to be finished? Or would it collapse in public before the final scene was ever filmed? If you enjoy hidden Hollywood history, hit like so YouTube knows to show you more stories that never make it into the trailers. Old Hollywood was not just elegant, it was dangerous. Subscribe for more premium documentary deep dives. into the films that shaped the industry by nearly breaking it. And in the comments tell me, which old Hollywood production do you think was the most cursed? Cleopatra, or another film with an even darker story?